Hello friends, today in this live stream I will be finding the location between two countries or cities inside from google.com. So this will be a web scraping project here. So we will be using the Python library called as Selenium. So basically if you type this library, this is the official library of Selenium. Here you can see this is the web scraping library which scrapes the data from the internet without having to use any sort of API. So let's suppose I am talking about this project here. Let's suppose I type here Delhi to Jaipur. So I just type this query here and I add this distance here. Just here Delhi to Jaipur distance. So Google will tell me this distance here and the time taken. You will see we will scrape all this information which is 4 hours 1 minute and 235.3 kilometers. Similarly, you can change this city to any city inside India. Let's suppose this city, Delhi to Kerala distance. So now you can see the format remains the same, but once again this value will change. So we can right click this value, we can inspect element, and we will try to scrape this value. You can see that using inside this span tag, this value is present. We can right click it, we can copy the X path, and we will display this value inside the application in a table like structure. And it is not limited to a certain country, it can be done worldwide as well. Let me write here India to New Zealand distance. So now the format will change here. You can see in this format that value will be displayed. So we will once again inspect element and we will try to scrape this value, which is copy pasting the X path of the value. So this is a value, you can see that. So basically in both the scenarios, if we just write it in a city based structure, let's suppose Delhi to Jammu, and we add the distance query here. So this is a format in which the result is returned to us. And when we write in world based scenario, when country based scenario, India to Tokyo distance. So now this is the value which comes here. So for every country, this value will change. So we will try to scrape this value using web scraping, and we will try to display this value inside a table like structure using their XPath address. So let's start building this application, guys. So for this purpose, we have used the Python script. This is my Python script. Let me show you a short little demo here. So if I just run the script here, Python distance finder.py, and in double quotes, I write here the value which is India, and then I will write the second country which is, let's suppose I write Australia, and if I enter it, so you will see it will automatically open the browser, it will automatically type it, and then it will tell you the distance which is between these two countries, and it will display this. You can change the countries to, let's suppose I change this to Tokyo. So once again enter it. So you will see automatically the browser will open. It will tell you the distance. You don't need to do anything. So this is all automated, and we are doing this using Selenium library. So if you are watching this tutorial for the very first time, then please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. And this we can do this for the city purpose as well. So if you are based upon a city here, so let me type here Delhi, and I need to find the distance between Delhi and West Bengal. So I will type this query. So you will see it will now type Delhi to West Bengal distance, and now it will tell me which is element is there. So we need to print this value here. So if you see info.json, so it will tell me the time 26 hour and the distance is 1484 kilometer. So we will try to display this value inside our application in a table like structure. So let's start building this Python script, guys. So we will make a new file which is distance time finder.py script. This is a script you will make. And the very first thing you need to do is that you need to install the Python Selenium library. So for this you need to be having Python installed, and then you need to install pip install Selenium. So install this library, and after installing it you need to have the Chrome driver installed. So for every browser this is different. If you are using Chrome browser, this is the way. First of all, you will say what is my browser. It will tell you the browser version which you are using here. So in my case I'm using Chrome 99. So then you can simply say download Chrome driver. So if you just write this, you will be redirected to this website, and simply you can download the Chrome driver according to your version. So just click Windows 32 if you are running on Windows machine. Mac is also available, and Linux is also there. So after you open this, there is a Chrome driver.exe file which will be there. So copy paste it inside your local directory. So I have already done that. So after that, we will simply say from Selenium, we need to import WebDriver. We also need to import system module. And after that, we will say if name is equal to main, and then we will say distance finder. We will call this function, and here we will pass the two arguments, which is system argument 1. We will take it through the command line, so that is why you are making use of system module. Put a comma and then the second argument, which is system argument 2. So now we need to write this function. So def distance finder. So we will say from and to. So you can just say from location and to location. So after this, we need to initialize our the web driver. So here you can simply say that driver is equal to, we can define this at the top, this driver variable. This will be empty for now. And here inside this, you can define it, driver is equal to, so WebDriver dot Chrome. And then you can say pass the executable address, which is Chrome driver.exe. So this file is present inside the same directory. So here we are writing Chrome driver.exe. After this, we need to open google.com, open Google. So we will say driver.get https google.com. So now basically if I call the script, if I write here python distance time finder.py, and if I passed the two arguments, which is, let's suppose, in double quotes, India and Norway, and enter it, so you will see it will automatically open google.com and it will close it. So now we simply need to target the input field of Google, so where we can write it something. So if you see, if you go to google.com, you will see this input field out there. Here we need to write programmatically. So you need to right click inspect element, and here you need to copy the X path of this input field. So right here we will simply say input driver dot find element by X path. We will pass the X path here like this. We will get the reference. And now to write something here, we will make use of a function which will called as driver dot send keys. Sorry, input dot send keys. And here we will simply say from distance, from location, and then we will say to, and we have will be having spaces here, and then we will say to location, and then we will simply concatenate the distance as well, having some spaces, and then we will press the enter key. So now to press the enter key, we need to import the library from Selenium. This is the line of code you need to write at the very top. So right here at the top, simply paste this line. You will see from selenium.webdriver.common.keys import keys. So in order to press the enter key, we will say keys dot enter. So this will press the enter key automatically. And now once again, if I launch this Python script, you will see it will automatically type these values and it will click the enter button. So now after this, what we need to do is that we need to, if you just type here India to Norway distance, what I'm writing right now. So we need to actually scrape this value, which is right here. So simply, I will simply say right click this value, and this is the value that we need to scrape it. So we will again copy the XPath. So we will create a variable here, which will be distance. So we will say driver dot find element by XPath, and we will extract the text, and then we will print out the distance like this. So now this will print out the distance. If I once again enter the script, you will see India to Norway distance, and now it is printing out successfully, which is 6,957 kilometer. You can change this for any country. If I write this for India to Spain, so it will now calculate India to Spain distance automatically, 7,937 kilometer. So this is for country as well. So basically, if I now run this for the city wise, so this will not work. You can see that if I now run this for city wise, so from Delhi to Bangalore, so this is city wise data. So in this scenario, this will not work because the structure is changed. So now you can see it will exactly tell you 36 hour, and it is working right now. You will see that it is still working. Delhi to, in some case scenarios it will not work. So that is why I was want to write a condition here. But you will see it is still working here. You will see that 10 hours, 18 minutes. But we need to have a condition here simply. This is working, but still we need to have a condition here. So that condition will be similar. We need to create a function at the very top that if the XPath exists or not. So this is a function we need to write here. It will just check if the XPath given to this function exists or not. So for this, we need to include this exception from Selenium. So it will automatically tell you whether this XPath element exists or not. So we need to pass a XPath to it. So similarly, right here inside our script here, whenever we find a element, so whenever you just type here like this, let's suppose Delhi to Bangalore distance. So you can see this will have this data here. You will see that this is the X path. You will see that this is the actual distance and this will be the actual time taken. So for the time taken, we will simply copy the X path. So we will surround this in a if condition. So basically we will check here if the X path for this element exists or not. So we will call this function which will be check exist by X path. And here we will pass the X path here like this. So basically it will return either true or false whether it exists or not. So it will return a Boolean value. So we have a AND operator also in Python. So we will once again check for the distance as well. So the distance XPath is this one. You can see that this one is the distance XPath. Let me copy this. So inside single quotes, you will paste it XPath here, and you will put a colon symbol here. So if both the XPath exist, then we safely say that we will print out both the values here, which is time and the distance. So we can simply say here, we can also have a else block. If it doesn't exist, in that case, let me see, we have seen this. First of all, we will quit this application driver.quit. And in both the scenarios, we need to quit the application at the end. So we will call this driver.quit. But before that, if it exists, then we will extract the data. First, we will be getting the time. So this will be driver.find element by XPath. So we will pass this XPath here, which we have calculated. Dot text, and then we will get the distance. So for the distance, this is the value that we have calculated. So simply paste it and just extract the text here like this. And now we can print out both the time taken and the distance. In the else block, we can simply take the worldwide one. So if you say India to Australia distance, so in this scenario, we only get the distance. So we can copy paste just XPath value here. So distance driver dot find element by XPath. So we can print out distance. So we are checking for both the scenarios. If the city is passed, then we get both the time and the distance. But if the country is passed, we only get the distance. So now we can run the script here. So if I pass the city-wise data, so it will fetch both the time and the distance. It is saying that on line 59. Let me paste this if condition once again. I think we have made a mistake here. So now if I run this, let me paste the script here and explain to you what is happening here. So we can say print time, print distance, and here also we can simply say that distance. So five people are watching the stream, guys. So we are developing a web scraping project inside which we are scraping the distance between two locations from live from Google website. So now if I hit the execute the Python script, you will see. So it is saying element is there. So this is the original script, guys. This is a Python script. So basically, if you just see it, it will create a info.json file in the root directory. If I run this Python script for any sort of location here, so let's suppose I pass here Delhi to Jammu, so it will scrape the data, which will be, if I show you info, it will scrape this data 10 hour 15 minutes. This is the time and the distance here, which is 589 kilometer. If I change the cities to, let's suppose, Delhi to Ambala, so now this will change here, which is 3 hours 36 minutes 200 kilometer. You can also cross verify. So now we can use this Python script inside our Node.js application. So for installing Express, we can simply write here npm I express EJS. So simply install these two dependencies. And after this, just make an index.html JS file. So I will just say that we will make an Express application. We will require this. So app will be listening on port 5000. So we also need to set the view engine, which will be EJS. And also we need to get the body parser middleware. So this will be helpful for the forms, which to get the value. So app.use body parser.url encoded. So we can now make a views folder inside this index.js file, just make it. And then what we can do is that we can change the title to distance finder app. We can change the title here like this, distance finder app. So we have included bootstrap CDN. We are using some bootstrap for styling the GUI. So we will make a form and this will go to a post request, we will get distance, and then we will have a, let me have this. Inside this, we will have two input fields. First will be for the from distance. So, sorry, from city or from, and here we will say enter any city or country. So here we will enter the country or city, and then we will have here input form control class of bootstrap, input type text, and here we will say name is equal to from. This should be required, and that's it. And now we will paste it for the second time. This will be for the to field. So here we will again say enter any city or country, name will be to, and I can change this to city, from city, from city or country, and to city or country. And then lastly we will have a simple button to calculate the distance between these two locations. So we will have a btn, btn danger, btn. So we will say get distance. So now basically we need to make this post request which is get distance. So some comments are there. Hi bro, can we help you to practice front end development? So front end is very much easy to learn. You need to be having some kind of grasp of CSS. Definitely I will make videos on front end development. Though which language is similar to Python? Python Python is a very easy language. I can't see any other easy language around. But JavaScript is similar to Python, but in not terms of syntax, but in terms of easiness. JavaScript is easy as compared to Python. How to publish a Python code as app? There are various platforms which allows you to publish Python code. You just need to search on Google, and you can also use DigitalOcean VPS server as well to host Python code. This is totally up to you. And after this, guys, we just need to make this get distance post request. So right here we will make this app post get distance request response. And after this we need to get the from value. So here we need to call the Python script. So to call the Python script, we will include a module here which will be child process, which will be a built-in module, child process. We will simply execute execute. We will here call this Python, and this will be distance finder dot py, and then we will call the script here which will be from and to. That's it. Sorry, this will be request dot body dot from and request dot body to, and also we will pass it in between these things. We will pass here to, sorry, just pass this values, and now this will have three arguments: standard error, standard output. So we can simply console log standard output. So if you now refresh, start this application node index.js, it will start this application at port 5000. So localhost 5000. You will now see there is two input fields out there. If I enter any sort of city here, Delhi, click and to let's suppose Pune, Delhi to Pune. Now, if I click get distance, so it will launch this window automatically. It will type on Google and then it will get the distance. You will see it will create this info.json. Time takes 26 hours. Distance is 1422 kilometer. So simply we need to display this distance here. Now for this we need to read the JSON file. So basically if you write here how to read JSON file, this is a code which is required to read the JSON file, which is this. For this you need to require the file system module of Node.js. You did not have to install it, just write file system. After that we are reading the info.json which is created here, you can see that, and then we are simply storing it inside distance object, and then we are re-rendering it response dot re-render index, and then we are passing this object distance to distance. So when we load the page for the very first time, this object will be empty, so distance will be empty. So if I now go to our template file, and inside our we will display it inside a table structure, bootstrap table. So we will have two fields out there which will be time, and then we will have distance. After this we will have table body, and inside this we will check if the distance is like this. So this is the syntax of EJS. So right here you will say distance dot time, and distance dot distance. So once again, if I load this application, so at localhost level here, if I write here Delhi and then if I write here Jharkhand, so a window will appear here. You will see that it will automatically get the distance. Oh, sorry, student is not defined. So you will see that. Let me delete this line like this. So once again, if you click the button, you will see it will scrape the value, and now it will display this value time alongside with the distance. You can change the value Delhi to Pune and click. So once again, it will take some time because the window opens and it types a distance here, 26 hours. So now if you can also put a country as well here instead of a city. So India to New Zealand. You can try out any sort of combination and the application will still work. So now you will see 19th hour 47 minutes and the distance is this. So if I check here, you will see India to New Zealand distance 11. You can see it is correct here, distance and time. If you type here India to USA and click on, so in this way guys you can build this application. I will give all the source code in the video description. Let me write a complete blog post here and give the link in the video description. So let me give a title to it. So if you're watching it for the very first time, then please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. So right here we can just after that just create an index.js file. We have, let me give this source code. Index.ejs file. Let me also give this source code. So you can see the blog post is published here, and after this click on view post, and inside the description of this live stream you will see this will be the link here. So simply go to this and download all the source code, and thanks so much for watching this stream.